gosh, I don't want to cry.
Oh, you're crying. I mean,
I know I am a crier. I am an emotional person in a good way. It's because I care.
all right, what's going on, guys? We are back. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. Episode number 50. Big episode today, obviously, for a lot of reasons around being grateful that we made it this far, talking about the first 49 episodes and what that has meant, what I've learned. So excited to just talk about what building this has been like. The most special guest we could possibly have will be joining us later on this episode. That is the person who has helped build this the most. That is my better half, my favorite person on earth. So my wife will be joining us here very, very shortly. Won't talk a ton in the intro here. We'll have some giveaways on today's episode. We'll get into that. But this is meant to be. Again, I want to highlight the interview. Again, she was the most asked for guest on the podcast interviews. Every time we had asked who we should interview on here, Regina's name was always at the top of the list. So I don't want to take away time from that. I think that's what I'll start with is, like the one thing on my mind, right, is what I've learned in building this in 50. Now 50 episodes. I think the first thing is I wish I would have started it sooner. This was something, internally we talked about for a long time. Like, what would this look like? Ever since the post Card Talk days on if I would do a podcast again, if I wanted to do it, what it looks like. Definitely grateful for all of the Card Talk people and the memories I have there, because I know I wouldn't have ever done this without that experience and those opportunities. So for, Ty, Lou, Court, Jay, Bobby, everybody over at Card Talk, that was definitely what helped me get here. So super grateful for that. Man, there's some, I would also say there's some really, really special people in this industry. I've been very fortunate on 49 of these episodes so far to interview people that are from all over, all different backgrounds and all doing different things, but some just genuinely good human beings. We've done interviews in Dallas. We've done interviews in card shops. We've done interviews here in this couch. I got to have one of my mentors and, Gary V, sit right on this couch and talk about it. Some of my best friends in the industry, people I admire and respect and look up to. Other people who have given me fantastic life advice, people doing big things in the space, whether that be at, Alt or Leaf or PSA. We've had some great human beings on this. And this podcast has taken us all over in 49 episodes. So to get here at 50 and, look back on, I'm not very big on like looking back and seeing how far you've come, but I think for 50 straight episodes to look back and see, who we've interviewed, where we've been, what we've talked about is a really humbling thing. And man, it's been a lot of fun. So, I think that brings me to the last point, that I could not have done this without those of you who listen. It has been a journey building to this point, but there are a lot of you who have been here since the very beginning, who have commented, who have shared, who have liked, who have reached out and offered feedback, support, even criticism. It's been a learning experience, and I enjoy learning, trying to improve things, and I think so many of you have helped make this possible and helped us get right here. So for those of you who either are listening for the 50th time or for the first time, just know it is greatly, greatly appreciated, and it's the reason we're still going and looking forward to another 50 plus episodes. So excited to do another one of these. hopefully at 100 or 500 or whatever that next number is. But man, 50's pretty cool. So shout out to y'all for that. Looking back, it's like I can't think of an interview I've been more grateful to do than the one on today's episode. We'll get into that in here in a very short amount of time, but I think you guys will find some joy into that. There's no one on earth I care about more than my wife, right? She's been with it, with me since I was in my parents' basement, putting taping taping eBay labels on packages, putting little business cards in there. She's been a part of the grind since the very, very beginning. So it's fun to talk with her and kind of reminisce on, where this thing has been, because this place has gotten a lot bigger over the last 5 years, and it wasn't always like that. And she's been around for the good, the bad, and she's been around for all of it. So it's fun to talk with her and again look back on where we've been. So with that being said, want to we talked about look back. I think last week I gave a prediction around the playoffs. I got a little bit of flack for that. I heard some opinions on some of the takes I made, and I know one of the first games that happened, I said, man, I think this Bears team is special. I think this Bears team is going to the Super Bowl. I said that. We can run the tape. That footage exists on the internet, and they're down 21-3, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm an idiot. It's just like college football. I said every team I pick's going to lose. Here we go. Sure enough, man, that Caleb Williams dude is special. We could probably run the tape on that. I've been a Caleb Williams truther for quite some time. He's got it. He's an elite quarterback. He is the real deal. That team is good. That team's really, really good. They got some dogs out there. Ben Johnson's a great coach. I'm still a believer. And then the other one I said was they were going to face the Buffalo Bills. And they're down late, and I'm like, oh man, not this, right? Like I can't lose both Super Bowls. First weekend, obviously the Bears ended up winning, so it was good there. But Bills were down early, come back, score late. I think it was about a minute left when Josh Allen got in, and T-Law first pass, 53 seconds left, intercepted. Been a big T-Law guy for a while. I do think T-Law is an elite talent. Didn't work out. That team's good. That team, I think with Cohen in first year, they exceeded expectations. So I think that team's, got some pieces that they're gonna compete for a while. So we'll see what happens. Exciting matchups coming up. Obviously, you look back at some of the weekend, some disappointing news. Obviously, Rodgers, potentially his last game. I just can't imagine he's going to play another one. I think this was it. Obviously, Tomlin retires or steps down, whatever. But I would assume this is probably it for Rodgers. He's just, unless this is like a Phillip Rivers situation where a team needs a quarterback in week 8 and they're in contention, they call Rodgers. I just still can't see him coming back anymore. And then obviously, George Kittle tears his Achilles. It already seems likely Travis Kelce's going to hang it up. He's got Taylor Swift waiting for him in retirement. He's won 3 Super Bowls. Mahomes has a torn ACL and is likely going to miss 8 weeks, if not all year next year. It seems like we could be at the end of 2 great tight ends calling it a career. So we'll see. And then the Eagles, man, my guy Reese is helping me with this one today. He's a big Eagles guy. You want to talk about a waste of some offensive talent? There's a lot of talent on that Philadelphia Eagles roster. I mean, I'll say it. I think the Eagles and the Lions have 2 of the best rosters in football, and neither one of them is going to be playing for a Super Bowl this year. The Lions didn't even get to go to the playoffs. But A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, I mean, that team's got some weapons. And to lose in the first round at home, we talked about this last week. Sirianni rested their starters. They said, we're going to rest. They lost to the Commanders, so they got the 3 seed instead of the 2 seed where they would have played the Packers at home. Packers obviously a little banged up, so they got the Niners. The Niners didn't have Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. I mean, wide receivers. George Kittle gets hurt. I mean, they were down everybody. Not a problem. Go right into, Lincoln Financial Field and smack around the defending champs. I mean, it was 4th and 11. I mean, they had a shot to come, to score there at the end. But didn't work. So at this point, we're getting a new Super Bowl champ this year. Again, one final piece from last week we talked about. So we talked about potentially being a new Super Bowl winner from a quarterback perspective for the first time. There is one remaining. There is one in the playoffs that has a Super Bowl title. His name is Matthew Stafford. He's likely the league MVP this year. That team is good. Panthers put up a fight. They did. They sure did. But now we'll see. Rams versus Bears. Is Caleb Williams and the Bears, are they going to get it done, or is Stafford and Puka and Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, McVay? We'll see, man. We'll see. There's some good games this weekend. I'm really excited for that. But Stafford is the lone quarterback of 8 remaining that has won a Super Bowl. Not one in the AFC has been to a Super Bowl. None of those quarterbacks. Not Stroud, not May, not Josh Allen, not Bo Nix. So a lot of storylines, potentially lining up here, right? You look at this for if it's Broncos Patriots, if both favorites win or both higher seeds. I don't know who favorites are, but if actually Buffalo's favored by 1.5 according to the ESPN article we have. So the Bills are favored in Denver, which is crazy. But if 1-2 were to win, Broncos, Patriots, that means a second-year quarterback would start in the Super Bowl out of the AFC, either Bo Nix or Drake May. We'll see what happens there, but could potentially be a second-year guy from that really big 2024 class. And then you got a 2024 quarterback on the other side, obviously with Caleb, Brock Purdy potentially having a shot to go back to the Super Bowl. Obviously, where they lose to the Chiefs, and then he got hurt one year where the Eagles went, and I think lost to the Chiefs as well. He got hurt in that title game. That's when he hurt his elbow. So we'll see. Exciting NFL playoffs. They're the best. They're the best. Those games, that Bears Packers game was incredible. Got to watch that. Panthers game was really good. Patriots game was a little messy. So was the Steelers. Jags Bills was a great game. Yeah, just a good weekend. Good weekend for sports, that 5-day run with college football. So excited to see who gets there. All right, interesting announcement. Big announcement from our friends at Topps. Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. LeBron James debut patch auto-esque card is coming. It's a 23 NBA seasons patch card of LeBron. Topps announced this earlier this week. This is going to be placed on every jersey LeBron wears from this past Monday. Cool moment for the league. I don't know. You got to assume this was very intentional. Again, I don't know that. It just feels like that. But the first one he wore was on January 12th in Sacramento, which is also where LeBron's career kicked off. His first NBA regular season game was against the Kings in Sacramento. So, pretty cool moment that the patch for 23 seasons, it started there. Obviously, LeBron doesn't have a debut patch auto. We've talked about what it would be like if LeBron or Ohtani or Mahomes or Judge or any of these big time athletes had one now. LeBron doesn't, so kind of a mix. You've got the biggest name in modern day sports, and you've got the biggest modern day trading card invention in the last couple decades with the debut patch auto. Again, to kind of pair these to one and come up with this LeBron 23 seasons. It's got all 4 team colors of the teams he's played for. It's a cool moment. I'm interested to see how this does compared to, because it's not a debut patch auto. Obviously, the debut patch auto signifies the beginning of the career for that athlete. But for LeBron, he is so popular. He has such a major market. He's one of the greatest basketball player of all time. I know, hot take, but LeBron's the man. So a guy that's played that long. Could this be the end? We'll get to that in a sec. But this, I have a feeling these are going to be, cards. Topps is going to put in some premier products. I think Dynasty, Diamond Icons, Royalty. Do we get a Topps Transcendent Basketball? Like, if those products exist and you can pull a LeBron James 101 or out of 4, or out of 5, whatever, these are numbered to. Like NBA seasons game worn patch from, one of his last NBA games. Like, I don't know how much longer he's got. Father Time is undefeated, right? Like, how much longer can LeBron really play basketball? You would have to imagine a high-end trading card of LeBron. There's a lot of LeBron collectors in the world. There's not a lot of these cards. These will be in demand. There's no question these will be in demand. Obviously, like, you can look up what LeBron Logo Man autos sell for now. 23 seasons game worn patch. I mean, it's gotta rival some game worn Logo Man autos, and those numbers are going to be big. He also doesn't have anything from Lakers up to this point. He doesn't have Lakers Logo Man autos. Like, Topps just got the license in the last 100 days. This is very new, but LeBron has Logo Man auto sales in the hundreds of thousands and millions. So we'll see, but I have a feeling these will be big cards. And then it brings up the other point, like, is this the end for LeBron? Is LeBron going to retire? It's an interesting thought, because I think when I think of LeBron and the idea of retiring, it's hard for me to not say LeBron seems like the kind of guy that wants his swan song. Like, everyone in the world knows this is the last season for LeBron. That feels like a very LeBron type move, is that he tells everybody, and this is the last time he's coming to Sacramento, and the last time he's going to Cleveland, and the last time he's going to Miami, and the last time he's going to Charlotte. That seems like a very LeBron thing. I guess there's still the possibility that he does it at the All-Star game, or he's going to Cleveland on the 28th. That's where, his career started. Maybe there's some kind of an announcement starting. I just don't see. I'm thinking through this. I'm like, does Topps put it on here? Does Topps and LeBron and the NBA have this partnership for this trading card where he plays another year, plays a 24th year? Like, is 23 just special because that's his number? Like, then it doesn't seem, to me, I think the significance of it, I mean, it's obviously LeBron, it's game worn, it's the closest thing he's going to have to a debut. It's essentially like a Logo Man in my eyes. But it's like, it would seem way, way, way cooler if he's like, this is the last year, this is the end for me. We'll see. Again, I have a hard time believing he does that without telling everybody. So I just, is that coming, or is he going to play 25 years in the NBA? That's insane. I mean, I was 8 when LeBron started playing basketball in the NBA. Like, I just turned 33. Yeah, God, I'm getting old. It's insane. He's been playing for forever. I don't think that math is right either. I think it's been a long day. I think I was 10 when LeBron started playing basketball. Shout out to all I'm sure somebody caught that and was like, Ryan, that math doesn't make any sense. Either way, I still think about this, and I'm like, I don't know. A lot to obviously uncover, a lot to still come out about this. We still got to hear from LeBron on when he retires. But if he retires, and we've got 40, 50 games left of LeBron James ever, whatever that number is, and they're all going to have a patch auto on them, those cards are going to be crazy, especially if they have the dates. I was thinking about this. He goes to Cleveland for the last time this year, January 28th. If that's the last time LeBron plays in Cleveland ever, that card's going to be worth something. The Sacramento one's intriguing because it's the first one he ever wore. Last time he goes to Miami. Last time he ever plays an NBA basketball game. Like, those will do insane numbers. We'll see. I'm excited to see where Topps put these, especially because you got to assume he's going to play. I know he said he's not likely to play on the second half of a back-to-back. So let's say LeBron plays in 25 more regular season games, excluding the playoffs. We'll include the playoffs if he goes there. LeBron's going to play in 40 more games this year. There's only 40 of them. That's more than a debut patch. You obviously have more than one. So where do you put 40 of them, right? Manufactured jumbo patches, like just like an old immaculate like logo patch. Are they only autographs? Are they only for Dynasty? Do you keep them for multiple years? I think there's a lot of ways I think about like where these could possibly go, because they are going to be such monumental patches. LeBron he's iconic. I mean, he's 1A or 1B all time, depending on how you dice it. So we'll see. A lot more to uncover. But before we kick it over to the most important interview I've ever done on this podcast, I do want to say thanks and give some stuff away. This will be an opportunity for those of you who comment on the YouTube video. This YouTube video is we got some good giveaways to my left here. This YouTube video lives now on the Cards and Content YouTube page. We took it off of the Card Collector 2 main channel. We have started a second channel. So do me a favor, subscribe on there, like the video for this podcast, and then drop a comment. There's 2 opportunities to win. Keep an eye out for the people that are trying to ask you to telegram them or kick them or send them money or, WhatsApp. We don't do anything like that. That's a scam. So going to ask 2 questions. Got 2 things to give away here. Got a brand new fresh Cards and Content hat and a brand new 3-row Zion case, black. I think it's like the black fiber one. So 2 giveaways. We'll do for the Zion case, your favorite episode so far. I want to know your favorite episode, 1 through 50. Any of them. Tell me, which of those episodes you appreciated the most. Drop that as a comment. And then for the Cards and Content hat, we've got who's one guest you want to see on the podcast. So 2 opportunities to win, two separate comments. Like if you want to win the Zion case, comment your favorite episode. And then if you want to win the hat, comment a second time and comment who you want to see on the podcast. All right. Without further ado, the interviewee you've all been waiting for, my wife. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 50 today, special interview. And I say that on the previous 49 of these, but today is certainly the most special of them all. The number 1 most asked for guest on this podcast, and the single person most responsible for me sitting right here. My better half, my beautiful wife, Regina, is joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Did that live up to your expectations?
Yeah, no, I think it was good. Honestly, I figured it'd be an but it's okay.
So she was a little worried about my my intro of her. Obviously, we have a very humorous relationship, so I think that's probably what she expected at this point. But genuinely excited for this. Excited for you guys to. I don't think we've ever done this. We've done box battles before, so I think it'll be fun for us to, kind of talk about the journey. Obviously, there's nobody that's been a part of this more than Reg. B-Dub, Brian's probably the closest person to that, but Regina's, been there even longer than B-Dub. So we're gonna ask some questions, some hard-hitting ones, some a little bit more layups, and then we'll do some like quick wedding style Q&A at the very, very end. So I'll give you the same treatment that I give everybody else on here. And that is, who are you and how did we get right here?
Yeah. So I'm Regina, also known as Reg, Card Collector 2's wife. It's been a long journey, but a fun journey. Ryan and I have been together since 2013. I remember the first time he ever told me he was into sports cards. It was on our first date, and I thought he said cars, C-A-R-S, but no, it was cards. So that was fun, and it's been fun to see, thinking back to 2013 to where we are now, and, it's crazy. I feel like time has gone by so fast, but, we've put in a lot of work into building this and building your brand, and it's fun. It's like sometimes I feel like we get so caught up in like what's the next thing, like what do we keep going, versus like really trying to like reflect on like what we've already accomplished. So it's pretty cool.
So this is gonna be fun. Obviously, Reg and I get to have these conversations offline, but I think doing it more in like a public setting on a podcast we're building is gonna be a little different. So let me. You mentioned the cars versus cards. For those that might not know, did you have any kind of exposure to cards before this?
No, not at all. Not at all whatsoever. Like the first time I ever saw sports cards was when we were packaging orders in your parents' basement. Like no, nothing. I knew like of Pokemon cards because kids would bring them to school like when I was in grade school, but I had zero interest in them at all.
Okay. All right. Well, you talk about like the shout out to my parents' basement. You talk about that. So, what do you remember about some of the like early days of like trying to build this as you laugh?
So I remember a lot, and it's just so funny. Again, like, I don't know. I think this is a nice way to like think back and like reflect of like how far we've come, because like before, what I remember is like we would print out the labels
Mm,
from your printer and we would print them out like one by one
mm.
on each piece of paper. Then I would have to hand cut them, and I would like stack maybe like 5 or 6 all in one, and then I would cut them, and then I remember you'd be like, oh, it's not crooked, like you can't do it crooked, it has to be straight, like this represents me, like when they open this package it's from me. Like, so you were always, even back then, like in your parents' basement, just like a one-man show with me helping on our date nights in between classes. Like, you were always still like very much perfectionist and making sure that like, we would cut it straight. And then the tape, oh my gosh, like I remember you like,
Oh,
we would tape these packages like,
don't put me in that category. You would take
no,
those
you
back.
would you gave me instructions, like, and I followed the instructions. Like, we would tape them, and I'd have to tape the whole label, but like we couldn't really overlap it because like we were on a budget. We had to, like, the tape expense, like we had to lay it out perfectly. Like, it had to be an excess, but not too much of an excess. So like, it was fun. So that's what I remember of like trying to sort everything. But even then, like I just remember being like absolutely amazed with how much knowledge you had on about cardboard. Like, this, how you could even just then like pick out the orders of like, oh, this goes in this one, this goes in this one, this goes in this one. And I'm looking at it and it's like these all look like the same. I don't understand what the difference is. So that's what I remember is the tape and having to make sure that I cut straight lines.
Yeah, I definitely remember those days. There's a picture of us when I think we lived at one of our second apartments together. Of you sitting on the floor taping those in my little 200 square foot office.
Little.
At best, it was probably closer to 100 square foot office. And I think that's probably one of the reasons I put the Dymo on the top 5 Christmas gifts of the years, because I remember having arguments about the cutting straight, like you'd stack 6 of them and then one paper would move, and
Yes.
then they were all miscut and we'd have to reprint them, and
Yeah,
then
because
you'd
he
have to
wasn't
tape,
putting a crooked label on
you
there.
have to,
He
you have
would
to,
not
you
allow
have
me
to
to put a
tape them.
crooked label on
Again,
there.
like I knew what I was building back then, and I knew that the presentation mattered so much.
For sure. It's the first impression they have.
So yeah, I remember those for sure. Obviously, I've come a long way since then. I want to, transition back. You mentioned nothing about sports cards. Obviously, I was into sports, in our early relationship. I'm still obviously a big part of my life now. Like, were you into sports at all? Like, in terms of like, obviously I love Ohio State, some of those things. Like, when we first got there, like any sports knowledge. And you said no cards, but
No,
sports.
so I played soccer in high school, so like that's the only thing that I did. But like being an Ohio State fan, not on my radar, none of that. Like again, I came here when I was in kindergarten. We lived in New Jersey before, and like my family alone, like they weren't Ohio State fans. Like I feel like everybody here is. So like I remember like being in grade school and thinking it was so weird that like people adore and love a football team. Like it is weird. So but now it's like so funny like thinking back, because now I'm the weird one, I guess. Like if second grader Gina looks now and is like looking at me and like, yeah, no, I'm the weird one, because it's fun. Like it wasn't anything I was interested in at all before, but I feel like it's something that that we've enjoyed together, whether it's watching the games or going to the games and things like that, or even now like bringing our son, which is really fun. But I mean, honestly, yeah, like before I wasn't into sports. I could care less about any of that. But now I feel like it's such a huge part of our life, whether it's Ohio State football or even like, again, sports cards. Like, it's been fun to be able to like enjoy that together, and me like learn to love it just as much. I'll never love it as much as you do, but like
That's probably true.
so that's been fun.
So with a decade plus being together, and you basically being in it the entire time, like the hobby, the trading card world, what are some of the things that you've enjoyed collecting or picking up? Like, obviously I buy them and we kind of build it together, and
Yeah.
we share those same passions. But what are some of the things like you've enjoyed, like seeing being picked up and giving to our son, or opening together, or building the Regina collection?
I mean, I love collecting the Disney stuff together. I think the Disney stuff is super fun. especially since like, I know you've shared it before, but since I worked at Disney, I think that's, it's a huge part of my story. So then also then to be able to like show that to our son and collect it together is super fun. Or again, there's also again that bit of like nostalgia a part of it, right? So like collecting some of the characters that like I loved as a kid and then now watching our son love them, like that's really fun. Like again, really truly like the first thing that the three of us can collect.
Yep.
So that's super fun. I love that, especially now, like, he goes into your office and you have like the little Zion case and he pops it up and goes, this is my favorite, this is my favorite. So like him being able to say all of that now, or then like, name all of the characters, like, oh, it's Olaf or Sven or whoever it is, like that's really fun. And it's crazy that like it warms my heart, honestly, that he is starting to like enjoy. I mean, he's only 2.5, but like he's starting to enjoy it, and I see those sparks of joy, that same spark of joy that I see in you when you look at sports cards. So like it's really really cool to watch it. So I'd say of course Disney, but then another one that we've collected is F1. Like we got super into F1 together.
Yeah.
Like we watched Drive to Survive and never looked back. So that's been really fun. Like to be able to, because like I don't know at the NFL, college, NBA, any of that like you do. I don't keep track of players. I don't keep track of any of that. So I can't talk with you like that. But like when it comes to F1, I feel like sometimes like I know them more than you. So that's been fun to like be able to collect them, but then also like be able to talk to you about like the drivers, the teams, like things like that, where I feel like I can't keep up with like, all this recruiting is coming from, I don't know, whatever high school to Ohio State or the transfer portal or, whatever it is, or, I can't keep up with any of that. And I don't have anything to add to the conversation. But like when we talk about F1, I feel like I can compete. I can,
Yeah.
can hold my own.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think that's so true. Is I think the F1 thing, and I've talked about this, publicly, is I think the F1 thing was really one of the first things like
For sure.
we probably collected together,
100%,
just you and
yeah,
I.
definitely before Disney.
Ripping boxes, like, cases of Chrome together. But then
I also do love some Pop Century.
yeah, Leaf Hop Century is
I
a
do. That's
fun
a lot
one.
of fun.
That's a Christmas special every year. But I think, yeah, like when our son came around and like, he can start to see Disney, in person or on, TV or, plush dolls, like whatever it
Yeah.
is, like just being able to like expose him to like that world, considering obviously the card thing's been a big part of my life since I can
Yeah.
remember, but Disney was also a big part of your life. So I think those two things together for like our son has been a lot of fun. So
Definitely.
yeah, I would say Disney is, my favorite stuff for sure. So I can't say I'm surprised that it's your favorite part your favorite thing to collect at this point. But kind of continuing on like with like the favorite events you get to attend, in the hobby, like what are some of the things that like stood out to you, either like past events, like, one, like a memorable one, or like event you're like, I love going to this show or this event.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few. So as crazy and as like hectic as that week is, I do really enjoy the National. I think the National is a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and I feel like I come back and my whole body hurts because we just put in like, gosh, 100+ hours. Like, but no, I think that's really fun because like, again, we see it on such a small scale at like, like our trade nights that we host at the shop and stuff like that. But like the National, like, I don't know, I've just had so many like phenomenal interactions with other collectors, whether it's, younger collectors, older collectors, their parents. Like, I love the National for that because I'm not buying and trading cards. I'm not doing any of that. I am like,
Should.
you might not like those trades, but like I enjoy like the connection and the community part of the National, of, again, like I said, like whether it's interacting with younger collectors, older collectors, the parents. Like I feel like at the National, like it just, like, again, like I mentioned earlier, like I feel like a lot of times we get so caught up in like, what is the next thing, and we're not really reflecting on like what we've accomplished. Where I feel like the National, like, again, as crazy as it is, it's a good checkpoint for me because of those interactions, and like it allows me to take a step back and be like, wow, like the impact is amazing, the sense of community is amazing, the sense of, I hear these stories of like, oh, like your husband's content helped my son through this hard time, or it helped our family, or whatever it might be. And I just think that's why I love the National so much, is because I don't know, I felt like it helps check me and remind me of like, it's so much more than just cardboard with pictures of men on them. Like there's so much more of it, and there's so much more that like you specifically are doing of giving back to the community of like the hobby and things like that. And I feel like the National really helps remind me of that, despite the hecticness. So I would say that, and then the one also I really enjoyed this past time was Fanatics Fest. I thought that was an absolute blast. It was not like any other card show I've ever been to. It's honestly, it's like I feel like two worlds are colliding at the Fanatics Fest, but in a good way. Fanatics Fest was a lot of fun. Again, I didn't get as much as that interaction with everybody that came up to the table, but still, again, having like knowing that sense of community and just hearing the impact, I think is super cool. What other one? Oh, the Gary Vee event. That was really cool. Those are probably my top three. Again, like seeing Gary Vee like walk in to your office and walk into our shop was like honestly surreal, because like, you know, I think back to earlier on in this whole journey of you like, Reg, you gotta watch Gary Vee's content. Like you gotta do this. You gotta audit your time. You can't watch Kardashians and hate your job. Like
Gary says that.
like for it to come like a full like 360 degrees and have him walk into something that we built like is just I honestly like I feel like there are no words I could use to adequately describe that, because that was like, I remember like sitting out there watching you guys film it, and I was like crying, like happy tears, because I was just like so happy and like so proud of, I don't want to cry on this. Just so proud, because like, again, like, you know, not everybody sees everything, but like, you know, I've had the privilege to be able to see everything. And it's been, I know how hard you work, and I know how much you care and how much time and effort you put into this. It was just, again, like I said, there's no words that can describe like how proud I was of that, because that was really freaking cool.
Yeah, that was that was definitely one of the highlights, you know, of last year. Is, you know, I talked about it a lot when you know, he came, and obviously I've been fortunate to, you know, get to know Gary on more of a personal level over the last couple of years. But yeah, I don't, you know, you can't really like prepare for that moment. You know, a lot of, like you say, is, you know, you're just so worried about like continuing to build it and seeing what's next and doing those things. But like, those are real good, you know, reminders of like how far you've come and like what you've built, when someone that you've admired for so long kind of,
somebody, you know,
that walks into that world.
100%. Somebody that like lit that fire in you, like that entrepreneurial spirit, like for him to walk through those doors and come and look to see what you've built is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So you talk about like that fire and that spark, but like as you look back on it, like obviously I've shared like we didn't always, you know, necessarily see eye to eye on like doing this as a career, but
for sure,
you know, do you look at a specific moment and say like this was kind of the time where you maybe thought that like, okay, maybe this isn't just like a hobby trading pictures of men on cardboard. That's how
I describe it to everyone.
There might be a little something here. This, you know, maybe this kid's not so crazy after all.
I mean, like, yeah, and you're right. Like, we had some tough conversations like early on, like even before we were married, of like, what does entrepreneurship, sports cards full time look like? And you know, those were hard, and I felt like, I mean, we've mentioned it before. It's just like I felt like our wedding was like the biggest turning point of like seeing that, like, because like cards have always been a part of our relationship, right? Like day one, you told me you were into sports cards. So like, but before that, like I wasn't asking for a P&L. I wasn't asking for anything. I knew it helped pay for things in our life, helped pay for us to do things, if like you earn some extra cash. But I never like really sat down and asked the hard questions. And then when that conversation of like, hey, like I want to do this full time really started happening, I started to ask a lot of those harder questions of like, well, does this make sense? Like, how much money are you really making? Like, what does this look like? So again, like our wedding was like your proof of concept, right? So like once I started seeing that, like, okay, like we can actually pay for this, like it's clearly making money. So like that was, I'd say, like the first time where I was like, okay, this isn't just like what we do on our date night of like ship the cards in your parents' basement. Like this actually is really truly something, and it's something that you love and you're passionate about. So like if you can do this full time, like now's the time. Like we didn't have kids then, we didn't own a house then, like we didn't have any other commitments other than each other. So like that was, and I was at that point, I was still had a really good job. And like we were fine if it didn't work out. Like you could always go back, but I remember you saying that like you didn't want to look back and regret not doing it. And that was the biggest thing, is that you didn't want to look back and be like, man, I really wish I would have taken that leap or taken that jump. And of course I'm really happy we did. And it's just that would, like I said, that'd probably be the first time that I really realized that, like, again, this isn't just cardboard with pictures of men on them.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that it's, been so long. I mean, we got married in 2018, so I mean, we're closer to 10 years than we are at the beginning at this point. So, shout out to my wife's expensive taste on that wedding, because that wedding was certainly it was
beautiful.
It was a lofty goal to try to pay for most of that or all of that with sports cards. So, I mean, again, we joke about this, and I've told Brian this story, and I don't know if you're sure this a few times, but had we just gotten married at the courthouse, we would have LeBron exquisite patch autos. We would have Jordan take-it-to.net gems. We would have 3 Mahomes 9.5
beautiful photos of
patch
our
autos
that we can share with our family.
We'd have
our future children,
millions of dollars in sports cards, and
it's okay. You have me. I am priceless. So that day was priceless.
Shout out to my priceless wife. Shifting gears a little bit. Obviously, this job requires a lot. Like, it's not Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. What do you think what would you say is like the hardest part of like being married to a full-time, entrepreneur?
Like, that's a loaded question. The hardest part is you're like the Energizer Bunny. You don't stop. You just keep going. You keep going. You keep going. And like, if there's, a fire at 11:30 at night that you have to put out, you have to put it out, right? And I think that's also something that it's hard as a wife sometimes in that dynamic, and it's also hard, I feel like, as your partner in parenthood sometimes, because like sometimes, like, again, like I know that like if there's something here that you need to get done, like I have to pick up the slack somewhere else in our life, right? Whether that's at home or with our son or whatever it is, to make sure that like you can keep this going. So I feel like it's kind of like, a lot of times I feel like a lot of things are like ebbs and flows, right? Where, if something comes up and like there's no notice, like that happens. Like, it's just being okay with that, and just knowing that like when you do show up for us, you're going to show up for us 110%. And I think that's hard for you sometimes. Like, you've done a really, really good job. It's something that I know you've worked really hard on, of like being more present with us, because like, again, like I said, you're like the Energizer Bunny. You don't stop. Card Collector 2 and all of this doesn't stop. So like, but you've again made a point to like really, when you are with me and our son, that like you are just with us and you're not worrying about, the 20 other projects you have going on here, or who's going here, or what the staff looks like, or what's the shop doing today. Like, cause it doesn't stop. So I think that is the hardest thing, is just being okay with like being uncomfortable, I guess. And like with the go. But then also like knowing that like, again, our relationship is never 50-50, right? Like some days like I'm giving 60 and you're giving 40. And then there's other days where you're giving 80 and I'm giving 20. So I think it's, again, like learning how to like be the wife and be the partner and of an entrepreneur, but also like on your end too, of like being an entrepreneur while also being a husband and being a father. It's like a really hard balance, because again, like it doesn't stop here. The ship keeps moving.
Yeah.
Peyton the bus as it's driving by. Like,
yep. Yeah, I think that was, I definitely think that's something like I would, attest to for sure, is like, with 8 to 5, like clocking in and clocking out, it's a little bit like,
yeah, you don't shut your laptop till Monday.
like you shut it off for the weekend. Like you don't have to take it home as much.
No.
This one, takes a little bit of it home. Like it never shuts off. Like,
no.
As we've grown and been able to build an amazing team, it certainly has its blessings, and being able to build with some really, really cool people and provide for a lot of people, but it also, more people and more responsibility and
100%.
more
stress,
cash
flow, like, like those are all things, like there's so many things I feel like that are different layers that like are hidden and like I know are like like weights on you per se. Like, you know what I mean? That like it just like again it doesn't stop. It's not like you clock in and clock out. You shut the
Yep.
laptop till Monday. It's not like that.
So if somebody was like, if there's a couple out there listening that was, interested in, one of them or both of them going into this more like full time and, wanted to, build something on their own, like what kind of advice would you, give to that person or, that, either the wife or the couple?
Honestly, like I think that you need to be patient and you also like need to trust them. Like because like and I think it also goes back to the comment I said about like, a lot of times in our relationship, I feel like you have to be okay with not everything is 50-50. Because that's just not how it works. That like sometimes again, like you have to put in that 80% because the other person can only put in 20. But like as long as we get to that 100% somehow, like it gets done. So I'd say like again, having patience, being able to like trust them that like they are true, like they are working hard on this. Trust them that like if they truly believe they can do this, to let them do it, and like maybe put parameters on it, right? Of like you have a year, 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is, for them to like really truly like try to figure it out. Because I think back to the conversation that we had, that like you would regret not trying to figure it out. So that would be the advice I have.
Yeah, I think the patience thing is probably one of the biggest things for me, is because patience and communication, because I think the patience thing is, it's hard to build something from scratch.
100%. 100%.
I didn't have financial help. I didn't have like a team at the time.
Yeah.
Like when I was first building it, it was like, you were my first shipper. Like you were the, the first part of the shipping team. Now, and now, we have a great shipping team. It's a lot bigger, but
yeah.
It's in the beginning, like it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time. And the other thing is like the communication is, I think that's one thing is if you're not on the same page and have buy-in from the person that you sleep next to every night, like it's a lot harder to build it.
Because then there's resentment. Like
there's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of angst. And I think that's one thing is like I was very open with you on like how it's going and what I'm doing and like what I'm working towards. And I think that's like super important. Like as someone in my position that was like the entrepreneur, was like communicating those things and like being on the same page with you, because
and being honest and truthful about your wins and your losses, right? Like I think that's because it's all part of the journey. So I think that's, again, like you said, communication and then being trustworthy.
So how would you say collecting together, over the time we've been together has grown our relationship?
Again, like I think it just goes back to like, like I enjoy sports cards because it brings you joy. But like again, collecting together, I feel like has given me a part of that like chase, right? Of like being able to do that with you, of like, because you just had that one card, the last one of like the Wade Ripple to complete the top set, like top refractor set. So like being able to like, when you said that you finally found it and PSA got a 10, like being able to me to like also be in that joy of excitement of like, oh my gosh, you got a 10, like you finally did it, like you know, like we have it done together. Like I think that's been really cool and really fun, of like, again, just like having like another area in our life that brings us joy and brings us joy together, and then again like that we both can contribute to it, which is fun.
So kind of expanding off that a little bit, because I think my answer is the same. It's been a lot of fun to like, obviously collecting the cards is cool, but like collecting them with together. You is way cooler. Like, especially like, again, the F1 was so early for us, but like going to the races and watching the show and like then buying the cards and
watching
like
the race on Sunday
and watching the race. Like, I think that was, a lot of fun, but like, how does it feel now, like knowing that like that part of our, relationship and marriage has like evolved, and like collecting, because now we share it with someone else. So like, what's it been like to, see CC3 like start to get into, the hobby that like helped build this?
Again, I don't want to get emotional, but like it just warms my heart. Gosh, I don't want to cry.
Oh, you're crying. I mean,
I know I am a crier. I am an emotional person in a good way. It's because I care. But like, no, it's been awesome. Like, I mean, again, getting to watch you guys like open packs like on Christmas together is like that was so fun. And he's just like, oh, this is my favorite. This is my
Mm,
favorite. Or pack me. Like,
yeah.
like just being able to like witness that with you and him. And all three of us, right? Of just doing it together is just so, so fun and so cool. Um, because it's just I again like I know sports cards and it's so silly because like it's literally just cardboard, like it is cardboard with pictures on it, but like it also just goes back to like, oh well, like I hit that with my son and my wife, and like like there's a lot more like there's memories and things like that are attached to them, right? Like when we hit that Donald Duck Super like on New Year's last year, like like that card, yeah, it is essentially cardboard, but there's like a whole memory attached to it. So the fact that we're doing that with our son is super super fun and super cool, and he might not again have that memory recall now of it, but
Yeah.
like 10, 15, 20 years from now, we can go back and be like, oh, buddy, like we pulled that on Christmas Day with you, or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that there's that memory that we have together of sharing it. And it's just so fun. Like another example that I have is just like, he loves your shop, loves your shop,
Oh, yeah.
loves your shop. We drive past it and he goes, Daddy shop, Daddy shop, Daddy shop. And like, he also loves like the Spider-Man stuff. So like
Yeah.
now, like if we took him to the shop, we'd put his two little feet down and they would run to exactly where the Spider-Man stuff is. So
Yeah, I
like,
think every time he's there, he gets a Spider-Man like the Chrome blaster,
yeah,
this the
yeah.
Marvel Chrome blaster.
So yeah, it's just really cool to be able to, open that in the shop that, we've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into, to have him, open up the packs with you, sit there and enjoy it, and then for us to create those memories together as a family around cardboard and sports cards, like it's really, really, really cool, and it honestly, like again, like I said, it just brings me so much joy.
Yeah, I mean, I always envisioned cardboard being such a integral part of my life, but
Mm-hmm.
it's certainly become a lot bigger when you have a son and a
Yeah,
wife, and
and he enjoys it too. Like,
yeah, they enjoy it, and I think it gives a lot of the cards I collect and buy purpose. You talk about like the favorite memories, and
mm-hmm.
when we reopened the shop in last year in 25 after the week-long remodel, he came in and like got to see it, and I think that was like one of the first couple of times
He's
he'd been
ever
in
been
there.
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
like he hadn't been in, we hadn't taken him in there yet. And we sat and ripped one of those Topps Chrome Marvel blasters, and it was really big into Spider-Man at the time, like super big. And we hit like a Marvel, or we hit like a Spider-Man, like you get like a yellow laser,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of those like parallels, like you get like 2 or 3 per box. And we hit one of them
Mm-hmm.
of Spider-Man. Oh God, he was over the moon. And there's a picture like I feel like him holding it up and like
He's so proud.
posing. Yeah, I was so proud. So obviously haven't we keep our son pretty private. Like haven't posted that photo, but like it's screensaver on my phone. It's like cool to like look at that and understand like I wanted to open a card store and make a few bucks to pay the bills and do something I loved, and now I get to do it with the person I love the most and the people I love the most. It's crazy. So yeah, it's definitely emotional, but it's really really cool to be able to collect with him. I mean it's probably it's definitely the biggest difference between when we started and now is
Mm-hmm.
you have someone to pass it on to and someone
For
to
sure.
to enjoy it in a whole new a whole new way with. So last question, we'll get into something a little bit more fun because I know these can you can be an ugly crier. So
There's been no tears that run down my face.
I don't want
We're
listen.
good.
I don't want to be yelled at when you cry on camera. So
It's okay.
what looking back on it, like you mentioned the Gary one,
Yeah.
you've done some really really cool things over a decade now. Like what are some of your more like memorable moments that kind of stand out?
One that stands out is like I remember like I could like picture everything exactly how it was. Was like you and I were like standing behind the counter. It was like opening day of the new shop, and just like seeing everybody come in, and that people were waiting outside in line in the rain, and like having everyone come in to like enjoy what we just again spent so many days and hours and months doing. And just like again like really kind of taking a step back and just kind of like taking it all in, you know, because again, you get so caught up in like what's next, what's next. And like that's a big moment for me. It's just like I remember like having my arm around you and just saying I was proud, because I'm very proud of everything that you've done and that you've built, and I don't think sometimes you give yourself enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was like one of the ones that stick out like early on of like, wow, like this is pretty freaking cool. Of just being able to build a place that people come and enjoy and can enjoy together, whether that's with their son, their grandson, or grandchild, whoever it is, like, you know, like that they can come together and it's a fun, safe place for them is awesome.
Well, that is, I wasn't sure what you were going to say. So,
Oh, what are you going to say? What's one of your favorite parts? Can I ask a question?
I'm trying to think. A couple stand out. I mean, I think, Fanatics Fest last year was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I remember that, like, doing that together was fun. I really, really enjoyed that trip. Like, New York's a lot of fun. Some of the early trips to the National stick out.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
You know, what was your first one? Atlantic City?
No, Chicago.
Was it Chicago?
Yeah, in 2021.
Oh, yeah. The first time we ever set up in Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah. Me, Brian, Morgan,
Dustin.
Lauren, Dustin, Logan, and I think it was Nate at that one.
No.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean
That was fun.
the Nationals are usually the biggest highlights just because they're like the Super Bowl every year.
100%.
Fanatics
They're
Fest last
long
year.
waits, but they're fun.
Yeah, like as those have grown. I mean, that was the first one. I mean, we had hotel rooms for that. Like it was like 6 or 8 people on that trip.
Yeah.
And I think last year we took 19 people to the Nationals. So,
Wild.
yeah, the Nationals stand out to me. Ripping Packs in Boston with Matt Strom.
Oh, that was really
on the 4th of
cool.
July was pretty cool. I remember that one. The Gary V one will stand out forever.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long ride. I mean anything involving our son now is probably the top memory. Like just being able to do it with like him and you is cool. But man, yeah, it's crazy.
Wild.
Crazy. I never would have guessed we would have sat here and had this conversation. I mean, we might have sat in a empty vacant room with Brian just recording content, trying to build this many years ago, to sort of sit here now and understand that like we've come a long way. But I am very open. I couldn't have built this or done this without you, and I am forever grateful for that. So
of course,
I won't. I'll spare you the sappiness so you don't.
It's okay. You can keep going.
You don't end up crying. But I think that's a good spot to cut it. So thank you for that, for coming on, and for being a part of it.
Of course. I love it. I wouldn't want to have it any other way.
All right, Brian.
Let's get into the fun part.
So Brian says this is a fun part. We were very specific that like we couldn't know what this was. I didn't want to.
You don't know they are either?
I have no idea. No, I told him I
okay.
didn't want to know.
Okay, well, this makes it even better.
All right, so you guys both have whiteboards with both of your names on it.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is a question. I've got 10 of these questions, and basically they are who's more questions. So it'll be like who's more detail oriented, and then you would pull up who the person's name that you think would be more detail oriented, and then you guys can talk about your answers and what you think.
All right.
So the first one we have is who's more patient. All right, Ryan put up Regina, and so did Regina.
That's the easiest question.
The easiest question.
Have
you met Ryan? Do you know who Ryan Johnson is?
Yeah, patience. Yeah, I'm working on that patient thing. And we're not real patient in a lot of things. Patient is Regina. That's a Regina quality. That might be the only one she wins today, but
no, that's not true.
Regina is the patient one.
Yeah.
Thank God.
You've gotten better.
Thank God for Regina and patience.
You've gotten better.
Thank
Still
God,
not great, but
thank
you've
God
gotten
for
a lot
both.
better.
Thank God for both of them.
All right, next we've got who's more organized.
Me.
Wow, they both said Ryan.
Yeah, me, for sure.
With certain things.
Yeah. I think mine is a lot more like I have to be organized.
Yeah.
As we've grown and over, 30 people and time is of the essence. Like I have to be a lot more detail oriented. I have to be a lot more on schedule and watch the time more. So I would say Regina's not an unorganized person.
No.
She's pretty organized. So I just think by choice I have to be. But I don't think Regina's unorganized.
I would agree. I think I help.
Yeah, that's definitely true. She definitely helps with the organization. Yeah, for sure. I think this is more of an even like a team effort.
Who's more stubborn?
Oh God.
Oh, we got a split.
Oh, okay. No.
You are far more stubborn.
Excuse me?
Yes.
No.
Yes, see?
No,
Stubborn.
no.
See?
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Stubborn.
No, Ryan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no, Ryan
Yeah.
is the definition of stubborn. If you looked up entrepreneur and stubborn in the dictionary, they would have your name.
Entrepreneur for sure, but stubborn is that is a you quality. If I was naming your first couple,
You're
it would
making
probably
my
be
point.
stubborn. It would probably be stubborn. But we'd probably start with stubborn. Stubborn Regina.
Who's more competitive?
Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah, me.
I feel like we're both very competitive.
Stop it.
We are both very competitive.
You don't know anybody more competitive than me.
Okay. So I think we're both competitive, but yeah, okay. So maybe Ryan is more competitive because you are the type of person that would, you know where I'm going with this.
I know exactly where you're going with this, and I'll stand on this.
No,
in front
it's
of the
just because
world.
that's rude. No. So like we're story time. We were playing a game, Ticket to Ride, and we were.
This is the greatest story
No,
ever.
it is not the greatest story ever.
This is
because it
why
still
I would
makes
win
me
this.
mad.
This is why I would win this. Who is more competitive?
No, so like it's a game where like you have trains and you're going across and you have to build X amount, and the longer the train, the more the points, things like that.
Yep.
But like there's only certain pathways. Like if you
Yeah,
cross
so it's like
one,
city
you
to
can't-
city. So it's like
Yes.
Chicago to Dallas and Tallahassee to Salem.
Yes.
And you've got to build. You got like there's like 3 trains, 2 trains, 4 trains, 2 trains, 5 trains, and you've got to use your color. You got to acquire trains and build pathways there.
Yes. But like
Well-
some cities only have like one way in, one way out. Well, he could see where I was going. He wasn't going to win, so he didn't want me to win. So he was just dropping trains in the cities he knew that I needed to go to, that I couldn't go. So it's like me, him, and 2 other people playing, and he's just being stubborn and not letting me win.
That is being more competitive. I'm being more
Stubbornly competitive.
competitive. Being more competitive.
Stubbornly
There was only
competitive.
so many paths. I still have to play the game. I'm
But
not
you
able
had
to.
no business going there.
I
But you
did.
just
I
wanted
was
to derail my entire game.
I was sightseeing.
Because you just did not
We were
sightseeing.
sightseeing on Ticket to Ride. It is a ticket to ride. I'm trying to ride and see sights. Competitive.
This is why we don't play games together anymore.
The next one we got is who's more spontaneous?
Me.
They both
Ryan.
held up Ryan.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Because go ahead. Go.
Yeah. My life is a lot more. Free time comes on short notice.
Yes.
So mine is a lot like it's probably harder for Regina to plan spontaneity
Yes.
because I am a lot of like go, and Regina takes care of our son. So it's easier for me to lead spontaneity than it is for Regina. So it's
sure.
it's definitely me. It's definitely me. But I'm also the type of person that I'm like, hey, I'm exhausted from work for a week. Let's go to
100%.
the beach for 3 days. So it's definitely a lot more. It's
Yeah.
it's me for
You
sure.
want to do that in December, and I was like, we don't have time.
Yeah. We almost did. So didn't work out, but yeah, it's definitely me.
Who's more likely to laugh at their own joke? They both held up Regina.
Cornball. An absolute cornball. She just laughs. I just listen to her. I mean, just listen.
It's true.
You can hear it. I mean,
It's true.
she definitely loves to laugh at her own jokes. I mean,
I think it's funny.
thank God she's her biggest fan and she laughs at them because like some of the jokes she tells are terrible, and then you hear them and you're like, and she, you'll hear her
It's
giggle.
funny. It's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love her.
Who's more likely to lose their phone?
Shoot.
Ryan, I can't tell you how many times a day I'm asked, where are my phone keys and wallet? Phone keys and wallet? Anyone? Phone keys and wallet. One of them is missing.
I wish this answer was not me. I really wish it wasn't
Ryan
me.
loses his phone and his keys and his wallet all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've washed his wallet.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot to say. I'm not that stubborn.
Who's the better driver?
Oh my God.
I'm going to say myself.
They both said themselves.
Come on.
I don't think I'm a race car driver.
I don't think I'm a race car driver. I just pay attention and I get where I need to go. Me. Me. We'll leave it at that. Me. Me.
Stubborn.
Who's the better gift giver?
I'm going to say Ryan.
They both said Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ryan is very, very thoughtful. Very thoughtful. Yeah, very, very thoughtful. If he's going to get you something, he's going to think about it. He's going to think that you love it, know that you love it. It's something either you've wanted for a long time or is something that, like, you know, means something to us. Like, a lot of times, like, with dates or whatever it might be. So, like, he's very thoughtful in that.
Yeah, very, very true. I care a lot about it. Like, if you're somebody I care about, it matters a ton to me. So yeah, it is one thing I will always pride myself on is being a good gift giver. Like, if I care about you and I like you, like, and you're a part of my life, like, yeah, like I'm very, very thoughtful on it. So it's
for sure.
It's yeah.
But then if you
Reg gives great gifts, but yeah, I
like, take it back. Take it back.
Loathe them. It's weird.
Stubborn.
Like, I don't. Yeah, I'd rather
funny.
you keep your money and buy yourself something very nice. I don't need anything.
And who's better?
Probably goes back to the stubborn thing.
Exactly. You're making my point. Thank you, Brian, for
probably
making
goes back
these
to
questions.
the stubborn thing. Gosh, hate to see it. Just hate to see it. Shoot.
This one kind of goes back to the spontaneous in a way, though, too. Who's better at planning trips?
Oh my God, this is the easiest answer of all time.
We
Regina
both
should
said
be a
Regina.
professional trip planner. She should do it for a living. You should see the spreadsheets we have for going to Disney World. It's almost psychotic.
It's not psychotic.
It's
You have to have a
insane.
plan.
It's
If we're going somewhere, we have to have a plan.
insane. It's insane. It's almost like sometimes it's awesome. You're like, this is great. Like, it's way better now because it's so detailed. Everybody's involved in the plan. It's great. In the beginning, it was insanity. Like, you had to be up at like 6:52 or you were gonna miss the bus to get to a park. Like, it was awful. Now it's fantastic. Now it's like we you know, when we take trips, like, she has every little. We've traveled so many times together now, and like we also have a son, so like when we travel with him, like, it's a little bit harder. So Regina does not miss a detail, not one, like every little part of the trip is planned out to a T. It's perfection. Ask anybody we've traveled with. It's legit. It's party planning and traveling. Regina is an expert for sure.
Thank you.
All right, I feel like I won.
I didn't think we were keeping score, so.
We're always keeping score. That's why you're not competitive. Is that? All right. That's a wrap. Shout out to everybody who listened. Shout out to everybody for the recommendations. 51st interview next week. Maybe we'll get CC3 on here next.
He would love it.
He loves being on the microphone.
And he loves to talk.
Loves to talk.
Big chatterbox.
Yeah. Maybe the 5,000th episode we do will be him. Until then, it'll probably be somebody else. That's all I got for now, guys. All right, what's going on, guys? We are back. Another episode of Stock Watch. This is going to be great timing. This is episode 50 of Cards and Content, and this is one of the last episodes during the actual college football season. We are just a few days away at this point from the national championship. We will break that down. The portal closes later this week. A lot to talk about on today's episode. So shout out to my guy, Gabe Card Stacks, for once again joining us on another episode of Stock Watch. Welcome back, my friend.
Yes, thank you. Happy episode number 50. It feels like we were just in Shipshewana a couple of weeks ago for one of the first episodes. So, we've come a long way here. I'm ready to go stock up, stock down. I think I've come back with another great value bin play of the week and ready to talk Indiana, a lot of portal action actually over the last day, even today. So, yeah, I'm ready for all of it.
I appreciate the kind words. Shout out to you for being a part of more of these episodes than anyone else. I did want to, we never actually talked about this in text. I should have screenshotted it and sent it to you. So now I'm just going to do it live on air. You posted in your story that something about Arch Manning, said something about Arch Manning, people didn't believe in you. I believed in you. You balled out this year. I think, this episode, we're going to do something on the other half of this episode where it's like talking about like takes we got right, takes we got wrong. Like, I think that's some of the things we're going to talk about. Listen, man, I even got some kudos for it one time because you tried to be on this like, I was never a Diego Pavia guy. Like, you tried to play that off one time. And, like, we ran the tape back, and the tape's like, hi, my name is Gabe, and I'm here to advocate for Diego Pavia winning the Heisman. Like, you said that in an episode. Then you're like, this guy stinks. Timu Manziel. Like, no, not my guy. I just want to go on record and say, like, I think you were a little bit more like, what do you do with these guys? Kate Klubnik, Drew Aller, Arch Manning. Like, I wish I had the episode. I wish I had the tape here to run back because Arch Manning might be one of the hottest things come August. And I just need to find out, before we start, like, are you team Arch? Are you like out on Arch? Like, where do we stand as of today, early 2026, in Gabe Carsax and Arch Manning?
Yes. Okay. All right. With the Pavia stuff, I get it. I want him to win the Heisman. I was team Pavia, but it was like afterwards, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm fine with how it worked out, and it all worked out exactly how it should have, I think. But nonetheless, a great college football player. Just did not like the antics. Regarding Arch Manning, I'm in. I've always like I'm not a recruiting hype guy, Ryan. I'm not like number one prospect, generational. Like beginning of the season and such, I was like, man, I think he's the real deal. I think this is the stuff. I truly believe it.
I think the tape says something a little bit about like Arch Manning playing like you and me in high school.
Yes, but
like,
then, I mean, he was down. He was a stock down participant for many weeks, I would say. But still, I would be like, you know what? I'm gonna rock with it at the end of the day. I'm in with Arch, and I'm gonna.
So we're currently in on Arch.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride it out.
Do you anticipate Arch Manning being on stock down at some point, the remaining, the latter part of 2026?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure at some point, just because he's under such a magnifying glass. But that doesn't mean like I'm like that's just the price. That's just the stock down. But I'm like, you know what? I'm still gonna rock with it.
Okay, so you'll still be Team Arch by the end of 2026.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm still Team Garrett Nussmeier. Like, he had the struggles and everything, and I had him as my number one pick for 2026. That's not going to be anywhere near the case. But I'm like, you know what? Let this guy get healthy. He was on stock down many times, but I'm like, you know what? I trust Garrett Nussmeier, and I feel like there's going to be some climbing in the ranks.
All right, just wanted to get it on record. Just wanted to have it all out there. I saw some Arch Manning talk coming from the Gabe Carsax IG story, and I was like, we might need to address this.
I get it. I will remain on the Arch train. I'm with it. No hesitation.
All right, well, let's get into it then. We've got, before we get into CFP predictions, final chatter from an insane few weeks in the portal, we got to start with the usual. Stock up. Who do we have this week?
All right. First up, I'm going to, you could have put Mendoza every single week for the last 6 weeks. So I won't go there, even though his prices are up there. But I'm going to go his wide receiver, Elijah Surratt. Went off, I think he had 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, some great catches, and doesn't have a lot of product. It's in Leaf, and I feel like his stuff is starting to climb up. Maybe not huge significant gains, but I feel like his floor is starting to climb. There's probably some massive sales. There's actually a 1-of-1 that I was really bummed out. I think it sold during the game because I was buying on ComC during the actual game and bought quite a few autos, and I went to check some comps, and there was actually a 1-of-1 that went for $80, and I'm like, I feel like I would have probably bought that if I saw it, or at least I would have tried. I think someone actually took an offer at 55 on it or something. So
yeah, $60.
Yeah, that's a great find for whoever got that one and risked it on the offer, because I probably would have bought that straight up. So yeah, Elijah Surratt, 15-0 heading into the national championship. In the draft, making a climb up wide receiver boards. You've got your Mekhi Lemon, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson. Now Surratt possibly making a jump up there. So stock up on Elijah Surratt.
Yeah. Doesn't, like you said, doesn't have a ton, not in any Bowman. I don't believe he's in any Panini stuff, mostly Leaf. Looks like a lot of his stuff is consistently in that $25 to $35 range, but you get some stuff every now and then that's like a couple days ago. Leaf Collective Gold Superfractor 101 Auto does $200. So a pretty consistent, $30 Leaf Auto sale, and we're not talking 101. So it's pretty it's pretty good for a guy that doesn't have a ton of stuff. A consistent $30 Leaf sale is strong.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And hopefully, we'll talk about the game, but I mean, a nice win, some catches, a score could see that jump again.
All right, who we got number 2?
All right, number 2. I was looking at prices after the game, and I was like, I don't think that he really jumped at all. And then I think like the next day, I think Slab Stocks came out with a little graphic, and it was an Acropolis orange auto of
Yeah.
Carson Beck. I think it did like $35 a couple weeks ago. Then it went for like 125. So yeah, his style. I still don't think like his Bowman first autos. This is another thing, Ryan, where it's like, oh, is it the Bowman first? Is the transfer jersey? And these are.
Yeah.
This is one of the unique situations. Like a maybe Dante Moore or a Bo Nix, usually, or like a Will Howard for you when you get like those
Yep.
big power fan bases with a national
Yep.
championship run. You start to see,
Yeah.
I think, a little bit of a difference there. Because typically I'm a Bowman first guy, and I would stick to that. And I think that's maybe where you're not seeing the price jump. But his Miami stuff is on the move and definitely jumping. I sold a green, just a true green of this year in his Miami jersey for like $15 this week. That seems crazy.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
mean, Miami base auto from this year, $51. His first autos, a PSA 10 there's one at 100, and I think there's one at 150. His Bowman's Best dual jersey auto, which is the horizontal, so non-game used, does almost $75. I actually have, I was sorting through some of my college football stuff I have to put back, and I have 2 of the black sapphire autos to 10 of Beck in his Georgia uniform, 9.5 and a PSA 10. And that's always the tricky part, is like, which one do you want, the first or the Miami jersey? It's, like you said, you gave the best examples I think there's ever been on this with Bo Nix, Dante Moore, Will Howard. I think Beck's kind of the 4th iteration of that. Obviously, Mendoza doesn't have anything, predating his time out of U from Cal. So, those are some of the best examples. But, yeah, his stuff is definitely moving. We'll see what happens after, next Monday's game. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if Carson Beck, I think we could go back and look at the tape, like look at some of the sales data, maybe, again, another project for another day. But it seems like, Beck's been one of those like big time sellers for a while. Again, maybe early on in the season when they had, lost early, but like they beat Notre Dame early, right? So when would they have lost? 6th week, 8th week? Like they didn't lose for a little while because they were basically everybody's we basically were like, hey, this team's gonna win the national title. It's the best team in the country, and then they lost 2 games, and they're like, okay, like LOL, like this team's not the real deal. Then they barely get in. They got one of the last spots, if not the last spot, and then they're in the national title. So Beck stuff I think might have dipped a little bit, but even from his time in 23 Bowman Chrome U, he's always been a big time seller. Like Carson Beck stuff's. Some of his best stuff, like one of those black autos sold in 24 for $1,000. Like he's got some strong sales for a guy that I just don't look at and say this guy's going to be an NFL quarterback. Like he definitely sells pretty well.
Yeah, no, I mean he was like the number 1 guy in like draft boards last, like when that $1,000 black. I remember like his Reds were doing close to that, so he's always just been up there in the market. And then just Georgia just didn't have the season I guess they were expecting, but that was a terrible wide receiver room. I'm team Carson Beck on that as well. I don't think he was set up for success in that last season with that wide receiver room. And then I was like, hey, they went 5-0, then they lost to Louisville, then they beat Stanford, then they lost to SMU. Right. So yeah, they went 5-0, then 6-2 after that stretch. But before that, I was like, hey, wait for Cristobal to lay a stinky, but also, hey, Carson Beck and Miami look legit. So now we're back on track. So again, and it's kind of crazy, Ryan. Like, so they're 6-2 on week 8 or 9. At that point, it's like, who would have thought Carson Beck playing for a national championship? That's crazy.
Not I. Probably made some jokes I regret making at this point. So. All right, now this next one. So I don't know who number 3 is. I don't obviously have the list. But this is the last one you're going to give us for Stock Watch during the college football season. So we'll make some, after the national title. I'm sure we'll have those. I'm sure we'll have draft. We haven't sat down and talked about what this looks like post-college football world. But this is the last player on Stock Watch. Stock up while college football is being played. There will not be another one for months. So this is a very important one. So the third and final one during the college football season. Who is it?
All right. Well, now I feel bad because he actually didn't play, and you mentioned him last week. And last week I was intentional, and I was like, you know what? I wanted to stick with guys who just played games, didn't want to touch the transfer portal. Now I'm doing a flipperoo, and I'm saying, you know what, Ryan? I probably could have had him last week, but now his autos have jumped up even more. Josh Hoover, new Indiana quarterback. His stuff is crazy. Like a Bowman first auto is doing like $50 or so. A lot of movement on his prices, which, you know, I guess you could make the argument with Indiana continuing to win. Like he's not even playing games, and I imagine, you know, a win on Monday for Indiana is a huge boost for his market because it's like, hey, they're coming off, you know, the two best seasons in program history, the two best seasons we've seen in college football, perhaps. And now you get Josh Hoover in here with all this hype. Are they going to repeat? He put up crazy numbers at TCU. He's the guy. They just revamped the wide receiver room in the portal.
His stuff sells well. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, his stuff is hot. This is definitely, again, we have a different one, I know, for Value Box this week. This is a sneaky Value Box type play, for sure.
For sure.
Like, even if you were paying prices from, like, 4 weeks ago, right? They're definitely up since then. We actually hit the Sapphire 101 Pat Pradasha auto the other day on one of our college football breaks on Whatnot.
I saw that.
So I should have looked at his stuff then. But, yeah, it's, my goodness. His stuff is hot. I mean, almost $40 for, like, Bowman's best plain jersey autos at this point. And they're in a TCU uniform. So, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, we talked about it a little bit offline. Indiana is, you know, you asked me last week, anybody have it better than Indiana? And hard to say right now they do. That portal class is loaded with talent. I know they got Nick Marsh. They got that, Turbo Richard kid, that running back, I think from Boston College. They just got a 5-star corner today, like former top 50 player. I think they got that wide receiver that was at, like, Tulane. That was at Bama.
Yeah.
I think you posted about that. Yeah, Shaz Patterson, like, they got that kid. I mean, Hoover. I mean, Indiana, man, that boy Signetti is putting in some work. Like, I'm a little jealous right now. We just got our, like, 8th tight end from Northwestern, so that's always sick. We don't have a kicker on the roster, and I think we picked up, like, 9 safeties. So this is, man, sick. And we got to go to Indiana next year. Cut. Pass. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I mean, Indiana, that's the program to be at. If you're in the transfer portal, I'm trying to go to Indiana. I want to get developed. I want to play football. I want to be coached, and I want to develop. Man, Indiana, that's the best program and they don't have any of the tradition. They don't have any of the, you know, the allure from all these programs. They're just winning.
Yeah, I mean, second losingest program in college football history, and they're just winning. That's it. That's all they're doing. Again, NIL is changing things so quickly, and has, where it's, if everybody's got a little bit of money and you can build a roster of guys, and, you know, 4-star and 5-star backups at some of the schools that have traditionally had these guys, the Ohio States, the, you know, Alabamas, the Georgias, the Notre Dames, the Clemsons, the Texas, Michigan. You're not starting here a 4-star, 5-star. Yeah. Indiana will pay $1 million. They'll pay $500,000. Wisconsin, you know, I saw got one of the Buckeyes. Like, I think both wide receivers at Ohio State went to Notre Dame. I think Graham and Porter both ended up there, and Keon Keeley did. Again, it just kind of, I think it levels the playing field just in terms of, like, allowing teams to build rosters. You got a little bit of NIL money. I mean, look at Texas Tech, right? Like, Rayola ends up at Oregon. Again, I don't want to get too derailed, but yeah, I think at this point, if you got a little bit of money, you can pay these guys to come here. Like, oh, hey, you couldn't start at Ohio State, you want to make some money? You can come here, you can play, you get $250,000, $500,000 play college football. Let's do it. So yeah, it's different time in college football. I think it probably hurts Ohio State more than it hurts most, right? So it's not kids, you know, the kids that want to get developed and want to play for the best, I think will still go to Ohio State. But if you're a backup and you don't got time to play next year, shoot, go get $500,000. Go play at Kentucky, go play at Wisconsin, go play at another school and make money, and, you know, go there. It's different. It's definitely different. It's gotten different in a hurry. So
yeah, no doubt.
All right.
Stock
bottom
down.
3.
All right. I mean, I hate to pour it on this guy, like, because he's an interesting prospect. We've talked about it, but Dante Moore just did not have a great game. Kind of sends everything into a flurry where you're like, do you want to leave school after that performance, Bucko? You know, that's a tough one to come off of. I don't know what his price will look like. Like, is there going to be a sustained floor? We've talked about it. I like the
Yep.
play just because, like, hey, he's either, you know, a top 2, top 5 pick at worst right now, or he's a Heisman front runner for next year. And I know Heisman odds came out already yesterday, I believe. I don't know if he was actually included. I didn't even check to see. I don't know if they're already anticipating him to go to the draft, but yeah, unfortunate appearance for Dante Moore. He just looked bamboozled and just nothing went right
Yeah.
for Oregon at all. Just absolutely
Yep.
dominated, and it is what it is. And that's unfortunately the lasting impression that people are going to have. So again, it'll be interesting to see like where his prices kind of floor out, but I don't think it's a bad play one way or another.
Yeah, I can understand selling, but I can also understand, you know, we talk about it. There's going to be that story that Dante Moore. I mean, I think if he comes out, I think he will come out. I'm open to that. I think the Dante Moore top 3, top 5, top 10 pick. Like, I'm just gonna again, if you're asking me to you know, give a prediction right now, I would tell you that Dante Moore is going to the NFL draft and is going to be a top 5 pick. Deserving is a different story. Like, I watched the same game you did. I mean, D'Angelo Pond's house is the first one. You're down 7-0, and it was all downhill from there. I mean, yeah, it wasn't great. So, yeah, I'm just a believer. You know, Zach Wilson was a top 5 pick. Like, these things happen. Like, people convince themselves this guy's the next guy. Show some of the throws. Get the pro day throws, the measurables. Like, there's always a story. We see this every year. I just have a hard time believing he's not a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I agree. So just an unfortunate. Someone was going to be on stock down out of those 4 games, but my other 2 stock down are actually they didn't play this weekend, but I wanted to talk about them.
I would be
May I
distraught
continue?
if one of these is a Buckeye as we wrap this up. I would be distraught.
No Buckeyes here. But in the same
Thank goodness.
conference, we texted about this guy, and actually, you know what? You said something. I think it was after this episode, and you're like, "Why don't you sell some Sorsby? Like, what? Like, just take advantage of sell the gold for 140. What's it going to be in 4 months? 160, right? So, like, you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I sold some Brennan Sorsby, and then I went and bought some Aiden Childs. Just
Yeah, you told me
committed
about
to.
What are you doing, dude? What are we doing?
Just-
You said Chip Kelly.
Just committed to Northwestern. Got Chip Kelly as his OC. Jerry Neuheisel, the kid, back at quarterback coach. He made Nico Iamaleava look competent. So I'm like, and he did that in a week, Ryan. That was, just came out of nowhere. And so now I'm just gonna trust the process. The prices are super low. I sold a yellow Sorsby auto, and I basically put all that money into Aiden Childs, and we're gonna see if this thing can ride
You probably got
out.
like 75 Aiden Childs autos for that amount of money.
Yeah, no. I actually opened up my mail earlier today. I got a huge lot. I got like 5 autos and like basically the full rainbow for like $50. It was pretty crazy. So, yeah, I've been
He's
buying a
extremely
good
cheap.
amount.
$5 autos.
Yeah, so I might as well just take advantage and see if we can see this thing on stock up in the first few weeks of 2026 season.
Godspeed.
So I'm in. It's not great.
Nice.
I've always said if you like Anthony Richardson, you should love Aiden Childs. So you know what? Consider me an Anthony Richardson lover at this point because I'm in on
Yeah,
Aiden Childs.
all I'm waiting for you to now is to tell me that you have bought Lenora Sellers, and I think we'll really have like the the perfect pairing here. Bryce
Yeah,
Underwood,
that-
Lenora Sellers, and Aiden Childs, and you would have the perfect trifecta.
Yeah, that would be something. Maybe that day will come. We'll see. Stay tuned for next season.
All right, last one.
All right.
Who's in the bottom?
Last one. Haven't talked about this guy. This guy is just taking a world tour on like his transfer portal visits. Bo Prabula.
Oh.
His stuff is pretty down. And I bought a Bowman first auto this weekend for $10. And I'm like, that seems very low for one of the top guys.
His stuff is down bad.
Yeah. Like you could probably buy an orange auto right now for $50 to $60. Relist it for 120 and see what
Dual
happens.
patch auto gold from Bowman's Best at $20.
Yeah.
A blue shimmer did $10.50.
Yeah, I believe that. Yep.
Why do you
Down
think?
bad.
Why do you? Any reason on why he hasn't signed yet?
I think there's just, well, I don't know if we've ever said this, but in my head and just maybe on some social posts, I'm like, I feel like there's a quarterback shortage right now, and we're seeing that with kind of the portal. Like Tennessee might get left out of the mix. Georgia Tech is there, Virginia. I mean, there's kind of a drop off there in terms of like, the quality of the program there. But like, I feel like there's just like 4 or 5 teams right now that are probably courting him around and interested. So I don't know, just maybe more of a leverage thing, or just, there are some pretty decent options, or maybe he just wants to see it all out. But yeah, he is kind of the last, him, and I feel like there's maybe someone else. I guess Husan Longstreet now from USC, which is one of the last few that like they could kind of almost pick their spot out of these last 5 or 6 schools that need a quarterback. But yeah, I don't know.
Man, last one of the college football season. Thank goodness it wasn't a Buckeye. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Obviously, the portal closes this Friday. Saw some of the reports that Lagway signed with Baylor, looked like his father's alma mater, and then like the report came out that he was also going to visit Ole Miss because the Trinidad Chambliss thing. They originally denied his waiver, and then he's like, no, I'm not. I'm actually still committed. So I was like, that was an interesting one. Obviously, Lagway is a guy I think that will have some demand at some point. It was such a big recruit. Raiola signs with Oregon. I think you and I had both predicted that when the portal had opened. We both ended up talking about Raiola ending up there. Obviously, the Texas Tech thing was, always that joke kind of thrown around as would he follow Mahomes to the Mahomes lineage, but ultimately ends up at Oregon. I tell you what, I know we talked about it. Again, I would love to hear from my Oregon fans. If how they feel about Dan Lanning. You had said it, and I didn't really think about it, but man, that guy doesn't really win the big game. It's like a glorified James Franklin.
A little bit, but
right. I mean, you think about it. James Franklin was in the same spot last year that Dan Lanning was in. He was and James Franklin team should have went to the national title. Dan Lanning had no business. Like Indiana boat raced them. So at least James Franklin had an opportunity to play for a national title. If Dante Moore comes back, we'll sit here in 6 months and tell you that Texas or Oregon, I'm going to tell you it's going to be Oregon, will be preseason number 1. I think Indiana will be up there. Notre Dame will be up there. I'm not sure Ohio State will be quite that high. They have a lot of people to replace. So I'm going to tell you Oregon will be up there, Texas, Notre Dame, Indiana. Those are the first couple that stand out. Georgia, if Stockton comes back, we'll see what happens. Like, Bama won't be top 4 because of Keelan Russell. I'm trying to think of some of the other teams that could be up there. Michigan won't be. It won't be them. So you got to imagine Dan Lanning and Oregon will be preseason top 1, top 2. The same spot James Franklin's in. What's the guy do? He's got cool uniforms. Congratulations. Man, he just got boat raced in that game. Man, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, not ideal. Although all of his losses are to like the eventual national champion. Did you see that part of like all his losses?
Same thing with Ohio State.
For sure.
Ohio State lost 2 games all year. They're playing for a national title in Miami on Monday. Ohio State lost 2 games.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. I mean, gave up 13 to an Indiana team. Was it 13 or yeah? I think it was 13 points. I think Ohio State lost 13-10. To an Indiana team that put 56 points and 6 passing touchdowns on Oregon.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, that's not great. Yeah, but I'm a James Franklin like defender. I'm like, look, man, like who else is gonna do what James Franklin's doing for this amount of time, right? Like,
nope.
Doesn't win the big game, but it's like, man, I hope they never see a winning season. I like Matt Campbell actually, so yeah, whatever. But you get the point.
Yeah, going to be hard to replace what, again, didn't win the big game, got close, was in games, was getting recruiting classes. He's convincing people to live in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. Like, guy was, again, we joked, and I loved beating Penn State. Like, but, for what Penn State was, what he took over, he had some massive recruits, some big wins. Like, they were competitive in college football. Matt Campbell has some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I agree. It could get messy for Matt Campbell if he doesn't win quick.
All right. How do you any predictions? Obviously, we're recording this a little early, so we're recording this Monday evening. So if this comes out on Wednesday, we might have some of these predictions that might have signed by then, or something. So there could still be, we could say something and not happen, but you guys be like, hey, why'd you say that? Like, obviously, we don't know what the next 36 hours looks like, but anything you think might happen by the end of the week. I guess, are there any big names still yet to sign?
I mean, honestly, really, it's just kind of Prabula. I think that's which is kind of scary in the quarterback market. Like Bo Prabula is kind of the biggest name right now that could go. And like,
Mm.
did you see earlier Miami offered 6.5 million for Ty Simpson to stay or to come back to school? That's
Ooh.
pretty frightening for Miami. So yeah, not great. I'm a big Husan Longstreet guy. He's a 5-star kid that was at USC. I'm really not sure why he left USC in general, just because I feel like you sit one more year. I feel like you're probably going to sit anywhere else. But, anyways, I'm a big believer in him. I don't know where he's going to go now. I felt like it was LSU. Now Sam Levitt goes earlier this
Yep.
morning. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else. I think it's just Prabula, which I don't know. I would hope he goes Georgia Tech. I think that would be a win-win-win for everybody in the market. For him, Georgia Tech, not so much Virginia. Tennessee's, I don't know what Tennessee's going to do. They've got George McIntyre. They've also got the Faison Brandon kid from this year. So yeah, I'm just going to go Bo Prabula there. But otherwise, I feel like Damon's staying. Lagway probably maybe I think I've read that he's likely staying. Rayola just went. Deuce Knight just went to Ole Miss.
You say
Cam
Lagway staring
Coleman,
where?
Baylor.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, he's not with Baylor. I was like, he's not staying at Florida.
Yeah, yeah. Cam Coleman just signed Texas. You already said that they're
Yep.
potentially preseason ranked. Justice Haynes, that's another one. Did you see that Georgia Tech's paying him a little bag right there for a couple milli for Justice
Did he
Haynes?
sign?
No, but it seems like that was the first
Well, I heard that
re-
like Nate
reaction.
Frazier was talking about coming back and then talking about leaving, and Justice Haynes left. Like Michigan signed that Oklahoma kid, and they had talked about like Haynes was gonna walk because Jordan Mason. What's his name? Jordan. Is that right?
Jordan Marshall.
Marshall. That's what it is. Yeah, Jordan Mason's a running back for the Niners. Um, yeah, Jordan Marshall's coming back. They signed that Oklahoma kid. So Haynes goes into the portal. So it sounded like him and Nate Frazier might be available. I thought Frazier ultimately said he was going to come back. I know CJ Baxter. Apparently IU passed on CJ Baxter, which is surprising. He ended up at Kentucky.
Yeah,
That's a good running back. Like I was a believer in CJ Baxter for a while. I mean, he's had cards for a little while. Some of his stuff had sold pretty well at some point. Interesting to see
yeah.
him up in Kentucky.
Yeah, that hurt. I saw there was a crystal ball, CJ Baxter to Indiana. I bought a couple autos and then fell to my knees when he committed to Kentucky, just because, again, going to, with all this hype to Indiana, you're maybe, running, but they don't really have like a lead back in Indiana. It's just kind of a committee there, but they're all really good. So going into Indiana, I was like, man, that would be some huge hype. I mean, he had 1,100 yards or 1,200 yards last season for Texas and then just a little banged up this season. I mean, that running back room was a disaster at Texas anyways, but yeah, that one I was a little disappointed in. But I feel like most guys, and with the portal closing on Friday, I feel like most guys are kind of settled. It's just you got to figure out what you're going to do at quarterback. There's going to be some bad reaches, Ryan. So like Eli Holstein, my guy at Pitt, who got benched, like he might end up somewhere decent, which is crazy. That's very scary.
Oh,
Very scary that
no.
we've got 5, 6 teams that are in the hunt for a quarterback, and there's two.
Mm, yikes. All right. Let's get to it. Let's wrap it up. Last topic. Who's going to win the
Okay.
national title?
I'm going to Indiana. I feel like it would just be silly to go against them. Sure, Miami's defensive line is just terrifying, and just the defense in general. They've got playmakers everywhere, it seems. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's and it's at home. It is at home for them. But I think it'd just be foolish to go away from Indiana. I feel like they're just a team of destiny, and it's just Fernando Mendoza. I would love nothing more than Fernando Mendoza's post game speech. He dropped a conglomerate on us. He dropped a synergy on us last week, maybe like a cohesiveness. So I'm really excited to see what he would say after a national championship win.
I'm very eager to see how Fernando Mendoza leads Max Crosby into battle in 2026 and beyond. I am very big, obviously, like when, Penn State was really good and Michigan was, cheating but good. I was real big on like never say like this is our conference. Like that's not how this works. Like, Purdue doesn't take credit because Michigan, Ohio State, and, potentially IU win national titles. That's not how it works. So I normally do not root for the Big Ten. I'm like, I don't care if you think the Big Ten stinks. If we win a national title, I don't care what you think. The Big Ten right now, man, I look at this Indiana team and I started thinking of when they won, I'm like, okay, Ruben Bain and the other DN, do they get to him? They've got that, like, is it like Frederic? I think he's like one of the oldest corners in the country, at Miami. You look at, Malachi Tony is, that dude's awesome. Mark Fletcher's a big dude. I'm like, I told you in every game, I'm like, I don't love Carson Beck. Like, I don't think he's like super scary. This Indiana team does not make mistakes. They don't make mistakes. This is like a Wisconsin basketball team, like a bunch of third year, fourth year, fifth year college guys. You got dudes on this team. Signetti is one of the best coaches in America. They're going to win the national title. They're going to go 16-0 undefeated, and they're going to build this statue by the start of next season. And if they don't, they should. This guy is amazing. I was very again, Ohio State won last year. Google me. I'm like, this stinks. Absolutely not. Dude, they're going to win. You obviously got some guys on a part of our team that are big IU guys. As much as I would love to, poke at that and, make fun of them, it would be cool to see people that, we like and respect win a national title. I got to see my team win a national title last year. It's a lot of fun. Not a lot like it. And I just don't think Miami has enough to keep up with that Indiana team that doesn't make mistakes. They're physical too. Like, they're not scared of anybody. Like, Signetti's going to have that team ready to go. And I'm not going to sit here and believe that like Miami's going to own all the tickets and this is going to be 90-10. IU's got, I think, like the largest alumni base in the world. And a lot of them are probably doing pretty well for themselves. Feel pretty good. IU's going to have a split. It's going to be expensive to get in. I don't think Miami's winning. I think Kirk Signetti is going to go 16-0. He's going to win the Big Ten. He's going to win every bowl game. He's going to win the national title. Mendoza is going to be a, number one pick, and it's a team of destiny, like you said. I think the Indiana Hoosiers win. I actually don't think it'll be super, super close. I think it'll be 31 like 16. I think you're going to get a couple field goals out of Miami because they've got a solid kicker, but I just that Indiana team's good. 31-16 Hoosiers, national champs.
I was thinking of going 35-21. I don't know if I don't know if I'll see. Yeah, I don't have any field goals, I guess. 35-21. Got to be aggressive.
There it is. Last prediction of the year. Next episode we do, college football will be wrapped up. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll preview what's coming up. What's up? He's got a finger up.
Value box.
Is that? Oh, wait. All right. Quickly before I give closing remarks, this must be a good one. I know who it is. I don't know much about them, so you're gonna have to enlighten me on this one.
Yes. So it is none other than Trey White, defensive end, San Diego State. Now, I love this play because he's San Diego State. So it's just like no one's going to care about San Diego State when you see him in a value box. Like, oh, this guy must not be, super popular, very good. Well, silly me, I thought he was always a senior. So I'm like, you know what? It's just a dart throw for the draft. Turns out he's actually a junior. I mean, this guy has like 26 and a half TFLs over the last 2 seasons, like 15 sacks. This guy's a monster. And so when he entered the portal, I was like, yo, I'm going to start buying his stuff up. And they were like $4 autos on his base autos. I think there were golds and oranges at like 15 to 20. And then there are rumors that Texas Tech is in the mix. And then he signs with Texas Tech, or commits. I don't know if he signed yet, but now he's going to Texas Tech. And I just feel like it's just the perfect mix. One, he's a phenomenal player. Two, he's got SDSU, so not a lot of people are going to care. So you're going to find him in the value bins. And three, you get all this Texas Tech defense hype. David Bailey, they're making another run, perhaps even a better team than last year, this current team heading into 2026.
Especially with
Sorsby, they've been getting some guys here and there. They get Trey White, your David Bailey replacement. And I'm very optimistic. And it's just, again, a defensive player with San Diego State jersey. Like, you wouldn't expect that to be a $10, $15 auto. And especially if you can find some color, it's not a bad play.
And if for some reason you find somebody that knows nothing about college football at all, and you find some Leaf autos chilling there, those Malachi Tony autos you mentioned last week, a couple of them ended this week, and I just wanted to point this out. I'm pretty sure I did $900 at bids for one of Malachi Tony's only cards, one-on-one Leaf auto previously or just recently sold. $900 on bids. That's insane. Another one, the same day, $1,650. So keep an eye out for Malachi Tony autos if you see them. They're rare, but if you can find one, could be sneaky. So best of luck value box hunting. Couple big shows this weekend. Couple big shows coming up. I think Dallas is this week, so we'll see. Hopefully we can. Would love to hear from some people. If you make any plays, shoot us a DM on IG. We'll recap the national title. We'll recap the portal. We'll talk about it all next week. But for now, that's all I got. Peace, guys. All right. Shout out to Reg for sitting here, bearing with me for a fun special interview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'm sure we'll have her back on here before too long. And shout out to my guy Gabe. Last predictions for the college football season. I'm sure we'll do a couple more with him just to talk college football cards post a national title. We'll see who wins. My money's on IU. All right, we do have some big product dropping this week. Starting to get some big release weeks coming up. I know I think we've got Optic Football next week, so we've got some more stuff coming down the pipeline. But right now, Bowman Draft Baseball. This has been a hot one for us. For all my baseball fans, would love to understand some of the guys we're chasing on this. I believe the guy in the box, the Nationals kid, Eli Willett. I think it's like Willett. Again, I'm probably butchering it. I think he's like the top one. There's a pitcher for the Tigers on the box, but I think the Nationals kid's what we want. But man, definitely been a hot product so far on pre-sales on our website. It's been a big one for us. So I expect that to be a popular breaking product as well. Select Baseball is always fun. I know it's unlicensed, but that's a fun mover as well. Then you've got a 25-26 Allure Hockey. U.S. Olympic and Paralympic hopefuls hobby. This is a fun product if you're ever looking for something cool, Olympic, like USA themed, to be able to rip and enjoy. This is a pretty inexpensive box. I ripped a couple of these with my wife last year around the Olympics. Obviously those are coming up. I really enjoy that product. I think Topps does a good job with that. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. It's some really cool stuff. They got some like nice patches, superfractors. It's a fun rip. So this one comes out, today, but is a cool product. Actually, I think it comes out tomorrow, 15th. You got UEFA Club Competitions Soccer, Marvel Studios Chrome Sapphire. It's a big one. I'll probably have to get a box of this strip with my son. Big Spider-Man guy. And then UEFA Women's Champion League Soccer Sapphire. So a lot of Topps product, couple soccer, couple baseball. But again, I think football is on the horizon. Hopefully we get some more basketball before too long. A Sapphire or whatever's coming next in the gamut for Topps for the NBA license. We'll see. I know Midnight was on the I think we talked about that last week, that is coming. Hopefully it's before too long. But for now, that is all I got. Peace, guys.